Hey guys, Jessica Wright here from the Seller Lab Services team with another deep dive into some recent Amazon news. This month, I wanted to talk to you more about Amazon's remote fulfillment program because as you're hopefully aware, at the end of last month, all sellers who met certain requirements were automatically opted into this program. So now that this has kind of opened up the playing field for everyone, there's a lot more to learn about and understand about the program. I just wanted to give you some high-level details, some pros and cons, with a little bit of editorializing on my part as to whether or not this is kind of going to be a good fit for your business or something you should pursue. For better or for worse, either if you forgot to opt out or you purposely opted in and wanted to see what was going to happen, you're now a part of this program. So here are the things you really need to know to make a decision as to whether or not this is something you should stick with. So I've got the help page here pulled up. Amazon actually has done a really great job with breaking down this program. There's about 10 or 12 help topics here. So this is really everything you need to know. I'm not going to go into detail onto every single one of these help topics. Amazon has a page for that and you can visit it. I'm going to give you a little bit more of my perspective on a couple of these key areas. So first of all, product eligibility. Not all products were eligible to be enrolled in the program. So that's something that's pretty important to know. Even though Amazon did automatically opt in most sellers, if your seller account had to, of course, be enabled for FBA fulfillment, and you had to have FBA offers to be able to opt in, or for Amazon to opt you in. But you also had to have listings that were compliant, both with Amazon and local trade and compliance agencies. So for instance, if you had a product that meets Amazon requirements in the US, but in Canada or in Mexico is considered to be restricted, prohibited, or dangerous by Amazon, those listings wouldn't have transferred over. That's kind of your first barrier of entry. But then if Amazon says the products are okay, but they happen to be restricted by the local governing agencies, like for instance, if something is considered a restricted product by Health Canada, then your listing would not necessarily have been transferred over. So while you may have been opted in, all of your listings across your entire catalog may not have automatically transferred over. And that's something you're going to want to look into and make sure that you are aware of. The next thing that I thought was really important to make sure that everyone is familiar with as well are the program fees. So remote fulfillment has its own program fee page, which I'll jump over to in just a minute. And there are fees that are specific to Canada and fees that are specific to Mexico. So what you pay in the US to fulfill a product is not the same thing that you're going to pay to fulfill those same products in those other countries, which of course makes sense because Amazon is taking that product and fulfilling it in another country. So I'm going to jump over to that fee structure page really quickly here to give you an overview of what that looks like. So of course, what I'm saying is your fees are increased. A product, let's take a look at small standard, which is 6 ounces or less, $7.58. And note that these fees, either for Canada up here and Mexico down here, they're in local currency. So this is $7.58 Canadian, which translates to roughly $5.80 US. That same product to fulfill in the US would be only $3.07 US dollars. So it's about 89–90% more expensive to fulfill that same product in Canada. Taking a look at Mexico, same product, same small standard size and the 6 ounces or less. That product in Canada or in Mexico is going to cost $122.87 local currency, which again translates to about $5.97 US. Same product, $3.07 in the US. So it's even more expensive for Mexico. You're looking at about $5.97. You're looking at about a 94% increase to sell that product in Mexico. So that's something as a seller you need to be very aware of. Your profit margins are going to shrink if you don't price accordingly. Amazon created these listings and they just converted the currency over to local currency, they didn't take into account your additional costs. So you need to make sure that you're checking those prices, making sure that you're adjusting for these additional fees, and covering yourself. So that, I say, is the first, kind of con, the first negative of enrolling in this program. But on the flip side of that, you are not responsible for duties and taxes, even though you're able to sell in those countries. The big pro of this program is the buyer takes ownership of the product in the US. So they are responsible for those duties and taxes. So that is one savings, both from a cost perspective, but also from a logistics perspective and an organizational perspective. You're not required as a seller to file taxes for those countries or do the legal business entity things that you would have to do if you were collecting money in those markets and actually, the importer of record. So that's something that's a big plus. Now, I'll lead right from that into something else that people say is a big pro of this program, which is you're getting exposure in those countries. You're getting a chance to see what Canadian shoppers and what Mexican shoppers think of your product. Before you take the big jump and actually start stocking product in those countries, you're saving yourself, again, those logistical problems of figuring out how to get the stock there, where to stock it, how to stock it. Do you do just FBA? Do you have a third-party warehouse that you slowly move things into the FBA warehouses? There's a lot of decisions that would have to be made if you're stocking the product in those countries. There's also a lot of associated costs that you're avoiding, but you're still getting your product in front of those shoppers and you're still getting impressions. You're still figuring out how they're shopping for those things, whether they like your product, when they get it, what kind of reviews and feedback they're giving. So if you ever do want to expand into those countries, you've kind of got some market research. But again, as with everything in this program, that pro, I think, comes with a flip side that is a con or just something to think about. Don't be fooled by thinking you're getting millions more eyes on your products, because the reality is these products are going to be more expensive for the consumer to purchase because they are paying those duties and taxes. So you're looking at one of two scenarios. The shopper either knows they have to pay the duties and taxes and they recognize that the order is going to cost significantly more than what the listing price says, and that you've already marked it up from US dollars to cover any of your associated fees. So to them, it's not a good deal and they're just not going to be interested in pursuing and purchasing it. Or you may also have those shoppers who don't realize that they're paying the duties and taxes. Therefore, they purchase it, and when they get hit with that bill when customs comes to collect upon delivery, they're going to be upset and it's going to be a bad experience for them. And neither one of those is, exactly the way that this program is kind of shared and explained as being a benefit. So those are just two things I want all sellers and brands to keep in mind. You are getting some additional exposure, but there is a cost to it, and just be aware of that and make your best decision for your business. So let's say you decide you want to stay opted in, or you want to know what's going on with your inventory. So there is a report page that will tell you exactly what you're opted in for. So one thing that the help page will tell you is that if you go to the inventory tab in Seller Central, you're going to find your remote fulfillment option there. I've never seen it. I always have to go directly to this link that I find on the help page. So I just always like to call that out, because I know they say that exists somewhere. I can't find it. So I always go down to this how to enroll and go straight from here to the remote fulfillment page, which will take you to that report. So if you're already enrolled, you'll see that report. You'll land on this page here. You can download your report to see what listings are eligible and not eligible, and which ones are active and not active. Then you can use that same report here to re-upload and make any changes. So if Amazon opted in your entire catalog, but you don't want the full catalog opted in, this is how you'll make changes to that report and be able to opt out for specific items. Also on the program page here, this is where you can opt out of the program as a whole. So if you were automatically opted in by Amazon and you didn't mean to be, you just missed the deadline or didn't even know there was a deadline, this is where you can unenroll. You just simply come in here. You'll start off on this introduction to the program page tab, and you can just uncheck Mexico or Canada, and then keep navigating through with the next button until you get to the end so that you can unenroll. Likewise, if you maybe only are enabled for Mexico or Canada, or you opted out before, but now learning a little bit more about the program, you want to opt in. Same thing, come to this page, check those boxes, follow through with those next buttons, and then click the enroll button, and you'll be enrolled in the program. So just a little bit more information there. Hopefully that's helpful to you to make your decision as to whether or not you want to stay enrolled and utilize the program. Just a quick recap. Pros, inventory management is going to be a lot easier. It's more streamlined. You're just keeping it all in one place. You are getting some market testing. You're getting in front of those other shoppers. And then they're handling the duties and taxes. So it's taking the burden of, setting up your business and managing tax documents in other countries off of you as a seller. Of course, the cons to that are the exchange rate. You need to make sure that you're making money on a day-to-day basis, because that does fluctuate. So you need to make sure your price is current and correct, as well as just that general overall accounting and profitability. Because of the increased fees, you need to make sure that you are covering yourself in that way. Hopefully this is helpful information. If you have feedback, of course, we always like to hear it. Would love to hear how remote fulfillment is going for you, any wins or losses that you've had, so that we can, make sure to keep the community updated of, who and what, types of products and types of businesses are a good fit for this type of program. So thank you so much. And we'll be back next month with another update.